I thought I knew my grandmother Aurora like the back of my hand, an open book with a heart of gold. Her blue eyes sparkled like a summer sky on a cloudless day, and her hugs could heal any pain, any sorrow. But life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? With her passing, I inherited not just memories, but a secret she kept hidden for decades. It happened on a somber day, as I was going through her belongings, trying to find some solace in the familiar scent of her perfume and the soft fabric of her clothes. Among the old photographs, the letters tied with a faded ribbon, and the antique jewelry that lay scattered across the velvet-lined box, my fingers stumbled upon an old wooden box. It was hidden away in a corner of her closet, almost as if it was waiting to be found. The wood was worn, the surface bearing the marks of time, a testament to its age. As I opened the creaky lid, a faint scent of lavender wafted out, carrying with it whispers of the past. Inside, nestled between yellow tissue papers, lay a leather-bound diary. The cover was worn, its once rich brown now faded to a gentle tan, and the pages within were yellowed with age. It was as if time itself had been waiting for me to uncover this piece of her. I remember the shock, the disbelief that coursed through my veins as I gingerly opened the diary. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. I didn't know my grandmother at all. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I loved and admired, had a story she chose to keep hidden from the world. As I began to read, the lines on the pages revealed a life of love, of sacrifice, of choices made under the pressure of circumstances beyond her control. It spoke of a forbidden love, a love so strong it transcended time and societal norms. It hinted at a lost treasure, a treasure that had been passed down through generations, a symbol of the enduring power of love and sacrifice. This is her story, a story of resilience, of a woman who lived through the turmoil of history, yet found a way to leave behind a legacy that would only be understood years later. Over the next few hours, I invite you to walk with me through the pages of Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, to discover the secrets she kept, the trials she faced, and the love that defined her. It's a journey through the complexities of the human heart, a testament to the enduring power of love. Let's begin. In the late 1930s, nestled in the heart of America, lay Willow Creek, a small, quiet rural town that seemed untouched by the world's turmoil. It was a place where time moved slowly, where the air was sweet with the scent of blooming wildflowers, and the sky was a brilliant blue during the day, transforming into a canvas of twinkling stars at night. Here life was simple, and peace was the only rhythm that mattered. In this idyllic setting, young Aurora grew up with a heart full of dreams and a mind full of wonder. She was a dreamer, with a love for reading that transported her to far-off lands and an imagination that knew no bounds. Her days were filled with the routines of rural life, helping her hard-working farmer parents in the fields from dawn till dusk, attending school, and spending starry nights gazing up at the sky, lost in thought. Aurora's family was the epitome of close-knit and affectionate. Her older brother Thomas was a young man with a passion for flying, spending hours poring over aviation manuals and dreaming of the skies. Her younger sister Lily saw the world through the eyes of a poet, finding beauty in the simplest of things: a dewdrop on a leaf, the song of a bird, or the gentle rustle of leaves. Together they made their modest farmhouse a home filled with laughter, love, and the simple joys of life. The routine of their days was dictated by nature: mornings in the field, school in the afternoons, and evenings spent under the starry sky. It was a life of contentment, where every day was a gift, and every moment was cherished. Yet, amidst this peaceful existence, Aurora felt an inner restlessness, a subtle yearning for something more than Willow Creek could offer. It was a feeling she couldn't quite articulate, a sense of discontent that simmered beneath the surface, waiting to unfold. As she helped with the farm work or sat under a tree, lost in the pages of a book, Aurora's mind would wander to the world beyond Willow Creek. She longed to experience it, to explore its mysteries, and to make her mark upon it. But for now she was content to dream, to imagine, and to let her heart guide her towards a future that only she could see. Little did she know, the peaceful life she knew was about to be shaken, and her path would soon be filled with choices that would define her. As the summer of 1939 waned, the peacefulness of Willow Creek began to fray at the edges. News of distant wars and European tensions seeped into our small town like the autumn chill. My father, a stalwart man with a strong sense of community, would gather our family around the radio, his expression growing increasingly somber as the broadcast spoke of Nazi aggression and the threat of war. My mother, ever the pragmatist, worried about our farm's future, about how we'd manage if the world were to descend into chaos. Thomas, my brother, saw it all as a grand adventure, his eyes aglow with excitement while I wasn't sure what to think. The world beyond Willow Creek had always seemed so far away, so irrelevant. But as the days shortened and the nights grew cooler, I began to sense that something was amiss. I'd sit on the porch watching the sun set over the fields, feeling the breeze rustle my hair, and wonder what lay beyond our little corner of the world. My dreams of city life, of books and music, seemed frivolous now, as if I was living in a different era. The radio crackled to life one evening, and a news report spoke of Germany's invasion of Poland. The words felt like a cold wind, cutting through my reverie. I saw my parents exchange worried glances, and Thomas's excitement began to falter. It was then, on a crisp autumn afternoon, that I saw him, a young man in a military uniform, walking down our main street with a purposeful stride. There was something about him that didn't quite fit with the other boys from town. His eyes seemed to hold a deeper wisdom, a sense of secrets kept. As our gazes met, I felt an inexplicable jolt, like the spark of electricity on a summer day. He smiled and I looked away, my heart racing. The stranger's name was Elias, and he was new in town. Rumors swirled about his past, whispers of a mysterious family and a troubled history. But it was his eyes that drew me in, eyes that seemed to see right through me, to the very heart of my dreams and fears. As the leaves fell and the town prepared for winter, Elias became a fixture in our lives. He'd help out on the farm, and we'd talk long into the evenings, discussing books and music and the world beyond Willow Creek. I found myself opening up to him in ways I never had with anyone before. But there was something Elias didn't tell me, something he kept hidden behind those piercing eyes. And I sensed that his presence in our quiet town was more than just coincidence, that he was running from something or someone. The war was coming, and with it, a darkness that would change our lives forever. I could feel it in the air, a sense of foreboding that settled in the pit of my stomach. And Elias, with his secrets and his mysterious past, was right at the center of it all. Little did I know, our lives were about to become entwined in ways I could hardly imagine, and the choices we made would determine the course of our futures. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Aurora and Elias's secret meetings became a beacon of hope in the midst of chaos. They'd steal away to the old barn, or beneath the sunflowers, their whispers carried away by the wind, their hearts beating as one. Their love was a flame that flickered brightly, warming their souls, and for a moment, they could forget the war that loomed over them. Elias, with his piercing blue eyes, would tell Aurora of his dreams, of a world where love and kindness triumphed over hate and destruction. Aurora, with her wildflower spirit, would listen entranced, her heart overflowing with compassion. Together they'd find solace in the simple things. A gentle touch, a shared smile, a whispered promise. But Elias's past lingered, a shadow that haunted him. One evening, as they sat together in the barn, he took Aurora's hand, his voice low and urgent. "I have to tell you something," he said, his eyes searching hers. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm a German scientist, a deserter. I was working on a project, a device that could change the course of the war. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a part of it." Aurora's eyes widened, her heart racing. "What device?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias hesitated, then pulled out a small, intricately carved box from his pocket. "This is it," he said, his voice filled with a mix of fear and determination. "It's an encryption device, one that could give the Nazis unimaginable power. I have to find it, to prevent it from falling into their hands." As Elias spoke, Aurora felt the world around her shift. The gentle rustle of the wind, the chirping of the crickets, it all seemed to fade into the background, replaced by a sense of danger, of urgency. She knew that she was now a part of something much bigger than herself, something that could change the course of history. But they weren't the only ones searching for the device. Nazi agents disguised as civilians had begun to appear in Willow Creek, their eyes scanning the streets, their ears tuned to every whisper. Aurora felt the tension building, the paranoia creeping in. She knew that they were being watched, that their every move was being monitored. One night, as they explored the ancient labyrinth beneath the old church, the air thick with cobwebs and the scent of decay. Elias's hand brushed against hers. "We're getting close," he whispered, his eyes shining with determination. "I can feel it." Aurora's heart skipped a beat. She knew that she was now fully invested in Elias's mission, that she would do whatever it took to help him. The diary, her sole confidant, was filled with her fears, her forbidden love, and her growing determination. As they navigated the dark passages, the sound of echoing footsteps, gurgling water, and creaking old structures seemed to grow louder, a symphony of suspense that mirrored the turmoil in their hearts. Aurora knew that she was walking a thin line, balancing her love for Elias with her duty to her family, to her town. But she couldn't turn back now. She was in this with Elias until the end. And as they emerged from the labyrinth, blinking in the bright sunlight, Aurora felt a sense of resolve wash over her. She was ready to face whatever lay ahead, to fight for their love, for their future. The stakes were high, but Aurora was no longer the same passive observer. She was an active participant, a player in a game that would determine the course of history, and she was ready to play. As I turn the pages of Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, I find myself at the threshold of a moment that would change her life forever. The air is thick with tension, the shadows of the underground labyrinth dancing on the walls like specters of the past. Aurora and Elias, their hearts bound by love and necessity, have finally stumbled upon the secret chamber deep within the labyrinth. The artifact, a device of encryption that could alter the course of the war, lies before them, its metal surface cold and unforgiving. The silence is oppressive, punctuated only by the sound of dripping water echoing through the passageways. Aurora's hands move with a quiet reverence, solving the final puzzle that stands between them and the artifact. Elias watches, his eyes a mixture of hope and fear, as if he knows that their triumph is short-lived. And then, just as their fingers brush against the artifact, the sound of footsteps shatters the stillness. Nazi agents, their boots heavy and deliberate, have found them. Panic sets in, a cold dread that seeps into Aurora's bones. She and Elias exchange a glance, a world of understanding and desperation passing between them. The labyrinth, once a place of refuge, now becomes a deadly trap. Aurora's knowledge of the passages, learned from her childhood explorations, becomes their only advantage. She leads Elias through the winding tunnels, dodging agents and leaping over obstacles, her heart pounding in her chest. But they are not alone. The agents close in, their guns drawn, and Aurora feels Elias's hand slip from hers. He falls, a cry of pain echoing through the passages, and Aurora's world narrows to a single blinding thought. She must get the artifact to safety. Elias, his face pale and set, looks up at her with a gaze that speaks volumes. With his last ounce of strength, he entrusts her with the artifact, his voice barely above a whisper. "Aurora, take it. You must. I love you." The words cut through her like a knife, leaving her raw and exposed. Aurora's vision blurs, tears streaming down her face as she cradles the artifact, and Elias's lifeless hand. She knows she must leave, but her body seems rooted to the spot. The sound of agents closing in, the feel of Elias's weight in her arms, it's all too much. With a Herculean effort, she tears herself away, the artifact clutched to her chest, and sprints through the darkness. The labyrinth blurs around her, a chaotic mix of shadows and sound. She runs, her breath coming in ragged gasps, the weight of Elias's sacrifice settling upon her like a shroud. The diary, now a tangible connection to their love and his ultimate sacrifice, becomes her solace. As she emerges into the night air, the cool breeze hits her like a slap, snapping her back to reality. Aurora looks down at the artifact, now a symbol of her mission, and whispers a promise to Elias, her voice barely audible over the sound of her own heartbeat. "I'll make sure it never falls into the wrong hands. I promise, my love." As I emerged from the labyrinth, the darkness seemed to swallow me whole, like a shroud cast over the world. The rain lashed down, stinging my skin, and I shivered not just from the cold, but from the weight of what I had just witnessed. Elias, my love, my companion in this desperate quest, was gone. His sacrifice still echoed in my mind, a haunting refrain that I couldn't shake. I stumbled through the night, my heart heavy with grief, my legs trembling beneath me. The artifact, now a symbol of his last wish, felt like a burden, a responsibility I wasn't sure I could bear. I returned home, my family asleep, unaware of the turmoil that churned within me. I couldn't bring myself to tell them the truth, that Elias had died a hero, a deserter from a war that seemed to have no end. Instead, I whispered a fabricated story of an accident, a tragic mishap in the labyrinth. My parents and siblings offered condolences, but I knew they couldn't understand the depth of my pain. I was alone in my grief, isolated by the secret I now carried. In the silence of my room, I poured out my heart to the diary, the only confidant I had. The words flowed like tears, a cathartic release of all that I had witnessed, all that I had lost. The diary became my solace, my comfort in the darkness. I wrote of Elias, of his courage, of his love, and of his sacrifice. I wrote of the artifact, of the mystery it held, and of the promise I had made to him. As the days passed, I struggled to maintain a facade of normalcy, attending to my chores, helping my family with their daily tasks. But my heart wasn't in it. I was distant, preoccupied, my mind consumed by the artifact and the secrets it held. My parents and siblings noticed the change in me, but they couldn't fathom what I was going through. I was a stranger in my own home, a ghost haunting the lives of those I loved. But even in my grief, a resolve began to form within me. I was determined to honor Elias's memory, to fulfill his mission, and to protect the artifact from those who would misuse its power. I began to study the artifact, poring over Elias's notes in the diary, seeking to understand its purpose. I scoured the local library, searching for any mention of the artifact, any hint of its significance. The words on the pages became my lifeline, a connection to Elias, and a reminder of the promise I had made. The rain continued to fall, a relentless drumbeat that echoed my mood. But as I sat in the library surrounded by dusty tomes and flickering candles, I felt a sense of purpose begin to stir within me. I was no longer just a grieving lover. I was a guardian, a protector of a secret that could change the course of history. And with that realization, a sense of determination began to harden within me, a resolve to see this journey through, no matter the cost. As I reflect on Grandma Aurora's story, I recall the pivotal moment when she left Willow Creek, the quaint town where her heart had been forever entwined with Elias's. With a deep breath, she embarked on a journey to a larger city, seeking anonymity to shield her secret mission from prying eyes. The city's rhythm was a cacophony of sounds, a stark contrast to the serene countryside she once knew. Aurora settled into a modest apartment, its walls adorned with simple furnishings, a refuge from the world outside. Her days blurred into a relentless pursuit of knowledge, as she pored over dusty tomes in libraries and archives, seeking any information that might illuminate the mysteries of the artifact. Elias's diary, now her most treasured possession, served as her guiding light, its pages whispering secrets and encouragement. She consulted experts discreetly, careful not to arouse suspicion, and spent countless hours studying the artifact, trying to grasp its true power. It wasn't long before Aurora discovered that the artifact was far more than a simple encryption device. It was a powerful tool for intelligence, capable of deciphering enemy codes and predicting strategic movements. This realization both thrilled and terrified her, as she understood the weight of her responsibility. With each passing day, Aurora's skills evolved. She became adept at observation, discretion, and counterintelligence, transforming into a self-taught agent driven by necessity and her promise to Elias. I recall her meticulously deciphering a coded message, her heart racing as she uncovered a vital piece of information. In a crowded train station, she subtly evaded surveillance, her instincts honed to detect the slightest hint of danger. In a quiet cafe, she gathered information from an unsuspecting stranger, her words laced with charm and curiosity. These moments became her norm, a testament to her growth and determination. Yet, amidst this transformation, Aurora's solitude weighed heavily on her heart. The emotional toll of her secret life was a constant companion, one she couldn't shake. But Elias's memory remained her beacon, fueling her unwavering determination. She knew that her mission was not just about the artifact, but about the love they shared, and the promise she made to protect it. The Nazi threat, however, remained ever present, a shadow lurking in the corners of her world. Agents continued to search for the artifact, their eyes scanning the crowds, seeking any sign of its existence. Aurora's life was a constant balancing act, as she navigated the treacherous landscape, always aware of the danger that lurked beneath the surface. One misstep, one miscalculation could mean capture or worse. In the midst of this chaos, Aurora found moments of beauty, of resilience. She discovered a strength within herself that she never knew existed, a strength forged in the fire of her love for Elias and her determination to honor his memory. As she walked the city streets, her eyes scanning the crowds, her heart beating with a mix of fear and resolve, I knew that Grandma Aurora's story was one of courage, of sacrifice, and of the enduring power of love. As the war finally drew to a close, Aurora felt a sense of relief wash over her, like the gentle lapping of waves on a still pond. She had done it. She had played her part in turning the tide of history. The artifact, once a burden, had become a tool of great power, helping the Allies to outmaneuver their foes at every turn. She remembered the countless nights spent transmitting crucial intelligence, her fingers flying across the radio keys as she sent vital information to waiting ears. The enemy's plans, once shrouded in mystery, had been laid bare, and the Allies had struck with precision. In the quiet moments that followed, Aurora felt a sense of satisfaction, a sense of fulfillment that came from knowing she had done something meaningful. She had played a small part in shaping the course of the world, and that knowledge was a balm to her soul. As she looked around at the devastation wrought by the war, she knew that there was still much work to be done. And so she set about rebuilding, using her experiences to help others. Aurora returned to Willow Creek, but not to the same life she had left behind. She had been forever changed by her experiences, and she knew that she had a role to play in helping her community heal. She threw herself into her work, using her skills to help war-affected families, to educate young people, and to build a brighter future for all. And as she worked, she found a sense of peace, a sense of purpose that she had never known before. The artifact, once a symbol of danger and uncertainty, had become a cherished reminder of Elias and the love they had shared. She had placed it in a beautiful music box, its melody a gentle lullaby that seemed to capture the essence of their time together. As she wound the box, she felt a sense of nostalgia wash over her, but it was a nostalgia tinged with happiness, with the knowledge that their love had endured, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Years passed and Aurora grew into the wise, loving grandmother that I knew. Her eyes sparkled with a deep wisdom, her smile was warm and inviting, and her laughter was like music. She had lived a life of extraordinary experiences, of profound sacrifices, but she wore her story lightly like a well-loved cloak. And as I looked back, I realized that her seemingly simple life had been built upon a foundation of courage, love, and resilience. As I read her diary, I understood that Aurora's story was one of transformation, of growth, and of the enduring power of love. She had lived through the turmoil of war, but she had emerged, phoenix-like, into a life of peace, purpose, and beauty. And as I closed the diary, I felt a sense of awe, a sense of reverence for this woman, this grandmother, who had lived a life of such depth, such complexity, and such profound love. As I sit here surrounded by the memories of a lifetime, I find myself reflecting on the diary my grandmother Aurora left behind. It's more than just a collection of pages filled with her thoughts and experiences. It's a map to her soul, a window into the heart of a woman I thought I knew, but never truly understood. Reading her words, I feel like I'm unraveling the threads of a tapestry, each strand revealing a piece of her extraordinary life. I remember the stories she used to tell me as a child, tales of fairies and heroes, of magic and adventure. I thought they were just simple fantasies, meant to entertain and inspire. But now I realize they were metaphors for her own journey, a heroic odyssey of love, sacrifice, and resilience. The fairies were the whispers of her conscience, guiding her through the darkest times, and the heroes were the ordinary people who showed extraordinary courage in the face of adversity. Aurora's legacy is not just the artifact she created or the secrets she kept. It's the silent strength she embodied, the wisdom she shared through her stories, and the unconditional love she gave to everyone around her. It's the complexity and beauty of life's tapestry, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and defeat. As I look back on her life, I see the parallels between her struggles and mine, the ways in which her experiences continue to inspire and guide me. Reading her diary has been a journey of discovery, not just about her, but about myself. It's given me a deeper understanding of life and courage, and the realization that our stories are not just our own, but a part of a larger narrative that spans generations. I've found peace and a sense of closure, knowing that her legacy lives on through me, and that her story will continue to inspire and guide others. The diary has become a personal treasure, a guide for navigating life's twists and turns. It's a reminder that our stories are not just about us, but about the people who came before us, and the people who will come after us. It's a call to action, a reminder to discover our own hidden stories, to share them with others, and to leave behind a legacy of love, wisdom, and courage. As I close this chapter of my journey, I know that I'll carry Aurora's story with me, and that it will continue to inspire me to live a life of purpose, compassion, and wisdom. As we close the chapter on Grandma Aurora's remarkable journey, we're reminded that life is a tapestry woven with threads of love, sacrifice, and resilience. Her story, a testament to the human spirit, shows us that even in the darkest times, courage and hope can lead us to extraordinary discoveries and profound growth. Through her eyes, we've witnessed the transformative power of love and the impact one person can have on the world. If Aurora's story has touched your heart, then its purpose has been fulfilled. But it doesn't end here. The story continues through you, in the choices you make, the love you share, and the challenges you overcome. Grandma Aurora's legacy lives on, not just in the memories we cherish, but in the actions we take and the stories we tell. As you reflect on Aurora's journey, I invite you to engage with this community by sharing your thoughts and experiences. Please leave a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. What inspired you most about Aurora's story? How has her courage and resilience impacted your life? To stay connected and inspired, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, and share this story with those who might find solace and strength in it. Together, let's honor the legacy of Grandma Aurora, and the countless others who've paved the way for us. As we part ways, I leave you with a question. What secret do you think Grandma Aurora held dearest to her heart, and how can you apply the lessons of her story to your own life's journey? Your thoughts and reflections are a vital part of this story, and we're grateful for your presence in this community.